Hello everybody, around the world, around the country, wherever you might be on this third planet from the sun. I don't know where you are. Let me know where you guys are located. I'd like to know who's across this planet, where you are. Listening to and watching these videos. So anyway, I want to talk today about waves. I'm not talking about ocean waves. And bear with me for a moment. My speech might be a little bit funny. I just had some dental work done yesterday, tooth extractions, but I can't let my listening audience and my faithful viewers down, so I need to create another video. And plus, this idea has been in my mind for a long time. I want to get this distributed. But bear with me, be patient. Thank you. So I'm talking about waves. I'm not talking about ocean waves or water waves. I'm talking about waves that have happened historically since the dawn of recorded human history. Another way to talk about them would be revolutions. There have been approximately 4 major revolutions to take place, or waves to take place, since human history. Right now we're living at the time of the 4th wave, the 4th revolution, which is genomic, concerning the human genome, DNA, biology, etc. I'll get to that a little bit later. Right now, start with the first wave that happened in the time of, say, proto-humans, 10,000 years ago, etc., would have been agriculture. Agricultural revolution, going from hunter-gatherers, primitive society of hunter-gatherers, to being settled, being sedentary, having civilization where you can cultivate it right there, the land, tilling the land. And so that, obviously, the first wave, and it has started around the end of the last ice age, 10,000 years ago. And so that was the real first technological revolution. After that, you had to wait until the 19th century to get to the next wave, the next revolution, which was the Industrial Revolution, beginning around the mid-19th century, 1850s, 1860s, etc., in Western Europe and in the Americas. And so you had about approximately 10,000 years of time where people were learning, processing everything from the time of the agricultural, the genesis of agriculture, to industrialization. And in between that large span of time, you had other inventions, you had other things that were going on that would be considered revolutionary, such as the printing press in the 14th century, Johannes Gutenberg in Germany. The invention of the printing press, movable type, allowing more of the proliferation or the distribution of reading material, of books, which is a big thing. And you can consider that kind of a mini revolution. That's one amongst many. You had the guilds, you had all these other artisans during the medieval period in Europe. And of course, writing in general, which you could argue came from the Far East and East Asia with China. But I want to talk more broadly, of course, and you can narrow it down however you want later. But agriculture. My emphasis here is on how humans are able to adjust and adapt to these things. And they say, well, it took a long time to go from agriculture to industry. And that was because we didn't have the technology to engage with that enterprise, industrialization, which was the mass production of goods, factory work, etc. The creation of the steam engine, the internal combustion engine, things of that nature. So that's only been around for a little under 200 years. So the thing that I've always pondered is, have we had enough time? Agricultural revolution existed when it did, and it carried on for almost 10,000 years till the next big wave or revolution in technology was developed. You fast forward from industrialization in the mid-19th century and go until around the time of the end of World War II. So 1945, start of the Cold War, the bipolar world. And at that point in time, you have the computer age, what people would consider the high technology age of computing, digitalization, all these different attributes of high technology were coming about at that time. After World War II, the supercomputers, fast computers. And honestly, we've been in the computer age, the digital age, for the last 80 years. We're still in this age. We're still in all of these ages. I'm just talking about when they had their advent and how humans may or may not have been able to fully adapt, adjust, or correspond to these movements, to these advances that have happened. I'd say we've had plenty of time to build during agricultural phase, to build sedentary civilizations as we had, mostly along fertile river plain areas all around the world. And we had ample time to develop and to hone that. With industrialization, it seems like we're understanding the industrial mechanisms, and we switched from there almost immediately to we were only in industrialization for approximately 100 years until now the third wave comes, known as I just said, the computer revolution, the digital revolution. Less than 100 years. And then you go from the digital computer age to the genomic age, which I personally put around the end of the 20th century, so around 1997. For those that were alive, I was a late teen in 1997, and you heard I think it was out of Scotland, so in the UK, about the cloning of a sheep. And that was really big news back then, nearly 30 years ago. And that was, of course, playing God, tampering with the human genome, etc. Well, that with sheep, the animal genome. But to say that was going to just reside within the animal kingdom and not spill over into mankind, to humans, is foolish. It did and has for the last nearly 30 years. So I look at the cloning, that singular event, as almost the advent of this genomic revolution that we're going through right now. And we will be in this one probably for a long time. And I've talked about technology before, the high technology of, digital computers, smartphones, smart technology, etc., and how we're just not adapted to it. And now we're dealing with artificial intelligence, AI, which is a mess in and of itself. YouTube is You go on YouTube and you want authentic, genuine material, which is something that I want to give to my audience. You'll never get anything generative or AI from me. I don't even really know how to do it, and I don't care to. I don't like it. But we're living in such a fake age when it comes to that. You can't trust anything, really, it seems, online. And so the technology is advancing at such a rate in this third wave, the computer age, that I don't see that we can keep up. We haven't been able to keep up. The brains cannot adapt fast enough and efficiently enough to maintain all these networks, everything that we're doing. Our neural networks are composed of, millions and millions of neurons firing constantly, processing data, information, and applying it. Computers, obviously, I don't need to tell anybody this, are a lot more adept at doing this and at a faster rate than the human brain. But yet we have all of these advancements going on technologically, and we're not able to really keep up as a human species. I don't believe we are. So the reason I bring up the four different technological waves is to demonstrate just how long of a time the first or the second was. And we had plenty of time to adapt and adjust, to process it, and to make full use of it, and for it not to consume us. Between the second and the third, the industrialization, I don't think we had enough time to really get a handle on industrialization. And now that revolution has gone. It was only 100 years. The third one is still ongoing, and it's advancing at such a rapid rate. Okay, the fourth one, genomic, is a completely different ballgame, to where now you're dealing with things that are going to fundamentally alter our biology and could potentially, in a way, say reality. They're going too quickly. However much time is needed for any kind of revolution in technology or, with regard to living, I don't know how much time is actually needed, ample time. And most people, a person could argue and say, well, we didn't have all of these technological advances developed at all, or certainly not fully, before to make this giant leap forward with regard to computers, or make this giant leap forward with regard to the human genome. And that may be true. I mean, in the Gilded Age and before then, in the medieval period, the Renaissance, in antiquity, you didn't have these kinds of things. You weren't able to, and that may very well be. That's fine. The thing I'm arguing is not, did we have the capability of developing this technology then? My thing is, are we at our present moment as 21st century modern, postmodern human beings, are we mentally, physically, and spiritually capable, emotionally as well, capable of understanding this technology we have today, applying it appropriately to our lives, not letting it consume us, and then also being able to ascertain and understand its ends, its end product, what is the end result of all of this? Because as we can see now, it seems like the world is allowing itself, the people of the world are allowing themselves to be trapped into a control grid. I'm not getting conspiratorial, I'm not getting New World Order New World Ordery. That's not what I'm doing here. Even though I do subscribe to some of those views, that's not what this video is about here. But to say that there is not this top-down layer, and now there seems to be this massive control grid where you can't do anything. Even within the last 20 years ago, you could probably go undetected. Nowadays, it's not possible with anything. You're on the radar, whether it be from some big tech corporate enterprise or from government. You're on their radar, whether you like it or not. And so I just think that with all of this massive surveillance, which is what this high technology seems to be the end result and where we have gone with this technology. So the massive amount of intrusion, the invasion of the almost non-existence of privacy anymore in the computer age and digital age. Is that where we are with this? And I think we are. And that's a danger for those that do care for freedom, care for privacy. And I think it's mostly just because it's in the hands of people that are unrestrained, unfettered. They're not controlled by any means. They don't see that the population of people are too concerned about this surveillance state, this high technology being so involved in your life, and that you can't really do anything or make a decision without having this technology by your side. Just try and travel in any airport without a smartphone. It's almost impossible. You have to download this, do this, scan this. I mean, they use it as boarding passes sometimes. So I don't know if we have, I personally just don't think that we're capable of facilitating a good future from the technology that we're using currently at this rapid rate of advancement and expansion. And so what do you people think regarding that? And that's to say nothing of the human genome, tampering with human biology in all of its various forms, whether it's from conception to death. And so my biggest argument, and I don't mean to be repeating things over and over again, is just I see the agricultural revolution to industry and I say, wow, that was a great deal of time for humans to adapt and adjust. And I see since industrialization, it's only been less than 200 years. And we have had 3 waves come over us just in the last 200 years, less than 200 years. And I just don't think our puny human brains can keep up. And I think a lot of this will also be kind of our undoing as a society, as a race of humans all over this planet. So anyway, just let me know what you think. I do these things for fun. This thought experiments just out loud on YouTube, and I'm extemporaneous. I don't do anything scripted. So if the presentation is staggered, what have you. I've done public speaking before, but it's because of the extemporaneous nature of how I present the material. Anyway, that's all for today.